I had a friend say to me the other day, which is funny, he said, if I ever win the lottery, I'm just going to spend the rest of my life helping people. And I said, that sounds great, me too. And he said, you already do.
From the moment a patient steps in the doors until the healing begins, all of us must care for that individual. The work as a whole is greater than the sum of its parts. For no matter what your job is at Olean General Hospital, your role is patient care. Every employee and every volunteer, regardless of title, every person is a part of our healing culture. Every person plays a part in our inspirational work.
Hospitals are the most unique organizations in the world. There's a higher calling here, and I think people who've been in this environment or come to work in a hospital, they get it. And they understand that more is expected of them. Not just their technical and their intellectual work, but they have to give of themselves, they have to give emotionally. It's very, very hard work. But people who work in hospitals, I think, are really fulfilled in so many ways, because it is a special calling, it's special work.
Nobody wants to be a patient in the hospital. Nobody wants their family member to be a patient here. Nobody wants to really walk in these doors. So it's very important to treat everybody that is here with the utmost respect and care.
What I try to do is put myself in their shoes. If you put yourself in their shoes, it makes it a little easier to help them, be a little patient. Sometimes I do hear the frustrations, and really all you need to do is listen. Most of the time I don't think they even need us to fix it, but if you just listen.
Dad had his accident on a Friday and he passed away the following Friday, and his funeral was the following Wednesday, and my mom had either an allergic reaction or a stress reaction, and she ended up back in the ER. And Gail and the other nurses were so compassionate and so good to her, knowing what she had been through. I really appreciated the personal attention that they gave to her and the compassion and understanding that they showed to her, knowing that her husband's funeral had been that day. I mean, that was just a very unusual circumstance, and they were amazing. They gave her everything she needed.
The other day, I got a chair for a lady's husband. He was waiting in the hall, and he thanked me 3 times before he left for getting him the chair. And I thought, a chair. Sometimes it's the unexpected things, and not the, you would think it would be the code and the CPR resuscitating somebody, but that's not always the things that you take away from the day. It's not always big. It can be just small sometimes.
The patients usually come in, they're frightened, they're in pain. You try to ease the pain for them. You have them going through a multitude of tests. You just try to make them as comfortable as you can and tell them what you're doing. Let them know. I think that's the biggest part. You just can't walk up to them and just start working on them. Letting them know what you're doing step by step really helps, I think. I was working up front and a young man came in, and it was a cardiac patient. And when they're chest pain, anything considered chest pain cardiac related is a multitude of things. We start multiple IV lines, we're doing EKGs, we're hooking them up to the monitors. We're just doing things constantly to the person. And the nurse I was working with that day, Mel, and I'm starting the IV, she's pushing the medications, and we're just working as a team. The patient looks up at us and he says, "Ladies, thank you for coming to work today." I think that's something I'll always remember. It's a team effort. There's no one-man band here. It's all a team effort. Everybody, your RNs, your LPNs, your nursing assistants, your techs, housekeeping, everybody, they all work together. The kitchen. It takes all of us to take care of the patient, to make it a whole, to make them well, to send them home.
So I make sure that all 111 patients that we had today for lunch got a lunch tray on time and appropriate for physician order.
People look forward to their meals, and we want to make sure that when they uncover their meal that they see something attractive that looks appetizing.
We do want to make sure that they're eating healthy so that they do get better. You don't want them to look at their meal and go, "Ugh," then they don't feel well, then they're here longer. You want to make sure that they eat good and like what they are getting on their tray so that they feel better and go home quicker.
When you see that tray go by, it's not like we're just placing items on it and saying, well, it's done now. You know, we're putting everything on there and realizing that this is someone's meal, this is someone's dinner, and they'd like to have a nice one. So try to make sure that everyone that goes out is worthy, that everything is there that's necessary, and it's checked multiple times through the line.
I can tell you there are a lot of rewards. I mean, I have in the past done patient visits, and you get a lot of satisfaction from that. Just that little bit of a smile. I've helped them do a lot of things. I mean, I even helped one little man put his teeth in one day above and beyond what it's like, all right, I've never done this before, but we'll give her a whirl. You tell me what I need to do.
We tell all our employees, whether you work on the loading dock or at the bedside or someplace in between, you're really important to our mission of care and service. You're really important to how all our patients and visitors feel about OLE in general. It's why when we're in the hallway and we pass a visitor or patient, we need to make eye contact with them and say, hey, how are you? Why when we're with our friends walking down the hallway and we see somebody alone on a gurney or in a wheelchair, we break stride and walk over to that patient and say, are you okay? Somebody taking care of you? Do you need any help?
They come here because there's a need, you know. They're not come here to go shopping, you know. This is because they have a medical condition or they need help. And so the whole thing is emotional to start with. And so keeping things under control is very, very important.
We're there to not only for the safety of the patient, but the visitors, the staff.
Teamwork. You have to work together as a one group. I'm not just the phlebotomist, I'm an employee of OGH, and we have to be on the same level, all the departments, in order to get what we need done. And that's where good patient care comes in.
It's usually the older generation or even the younger generation when they get off the elevator and they look like, you know, they don't know where they're going. It's just nice to help them out and to represent the OLE General Hospital by, you know, instead of them walking around trying to find where they need to go, I just ask them, can I help you? And they tell me where they need to go, and I actually physically take them there instead of, you know, just pointing. 'Cause, I don't know, it's a good thing to do, and they're happy, and then they get where they need to go, because sometimes it's not always a good situation where they're going, and it's one less thing to have to worry about.
It's not just the nurse and the doctor and the technician in the operating room. There's people from housekeeping and pharmacy, from our sterile processing departments. All different departments in the hospital do have some part in a patient who comes in, say, for just an appendectomy or for a broken finger. You know, it's everybody that puts something in there as a team member to get this patient through their journey here.
I think that we have a tremendous amount of people that every little job they do, from mopping those floors all the way to bringing that patient in, registration, the meals, it takes all of us to be able to give that patient what they need here.
We're like the little elves. That's all I can think of, is things are clean and you don't know how it happens. And we're behind the scenes. Nobody notices us, but we're there. We keep infection down and the patient's spirits up. Everything is clean and tidy, and they will get better because of us. I work here on maternity, and the infection rate is very low because I do it. I've got chemicals, but I know what to do. So, yeah, I'm very proud of it.